Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be talking a little bit about Stephen A. Smith and these boys and this issue that he has with Terrell Owens. It seems like everybody's talking about it right now. So what happened? As you guys know, Stephen A. Smith, about a week or so ago, goes on the Joe Budden podcast. They're on there. And Joe Budden proceeds to ask Stephen A. Smith to give his opinions on the fallout between himself and Max Kellerman. When it came time for Stephen A. Smith to talk, he then takes it upon himself to go into why the show didn't work between the two of them. And in the process of that, he basically throws Max Kellerman under the bus by basically saying, number one, he didn't see the reason why people should listen to him on television, given that he didn't have a journalism background. And given the fact that he wasn't an athlete, that's one of the things he said. The other thing he said was, we would look at the focus groups, the Q ratings, YouTube, and all of these different things. And he said that they were worlds apart in terms of both gentlemen moving the needle. He said he was here and Max Kellerman was basically here. He then goes on to say, if you can't step up to the plate and do the things that I need you to do, I'm going to have to move on from you. Now, I want to take a nuanced approach to this point. Ever since Max Kellerman left ESPN First Take, if you look at the numbers by them going to an ensemble cast, it's actually worked better. Because now you have personalities, you have a rotating cast, you have Kendrick Perkins on one day, you have Chris Mad Dog Russo on another day, you have JJ Redick on another day. At times in the past, you had Jay Williams on other days, you had Tim Legler. At various points, now they have Shannon Sharpe, and Shannon Sharpe has really been a boon to that show. I mean, the numbers have been astronomical. However, it doesn't mean that prior to that, him and Max Kellerman, or in this case, Max Kellerman, was somehow incompetent or something like that. If you watch that show, Max Kellerman, you could tell, was the more analytical person, although Stephen A. Smith used to make some good points as well. Max Kellerman did have some wacky takes from time to time, but Max Kellerman was also never called to apologize to people left and right on television like Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith was usually the one that used to have gaffes on television. It's usually him, because sometimes he just talks without thinking, and then he'll say something like the Shohei Ohtani comments. That was Stephen A. Smith. The Nigerian players comments. That was Stephen A. Smith, and so many others. It's him doing it. To be fair to Max rarely had moments like that, but I digress because it doesn't fit the narrative of what he's trying to say. But there was a moment in the past on that show, I believe it was in 2019, where they brought in Terrell Owens. They were discussing Colin Kaepernick. They were going there, having their back and forth. And basically, Max Kellerman was on the side of Colin Kaepernick. Terrell Owens was on the side of Colin Kaepernick. And Stephen A. Smith was on the side of Colin Kaepernick to an extent. However, he was speaking from the standpoint that I think some people felt like he was supporting the establishment over Colin Kaepernick, who they felt was being railroaded. And it was because of that, when they were now having their dialogue, Terrell Owens said, in a joking but serious way, it's almost as if Max Kellerman is blacker than you. And it was those comments that at that time, that totally set off Stephen A. Smith. They totally set him off, right? Totally set him off. So then what happened? Yesterday, the day before that, some jackass watching the show said, when we produced the show about it, I mean, when the tweets came out within a less than 24 hour window, you know what this jackass said? Oh, this is old news. We produced the show on something that had happened within the 24-hour cycle. Man, this is old news. I guess because if we didn't cover it in the first 5 minutes, then it's anyway. So what happened was these two gentlemen then get into it back and forth on Twitter. And they end up having one of the most entertaining back and forths I've ever seen two people have on Twitter. So what we want to do is want to play that back and forth instead of me reading it all over again. I'm going to play the back and forth for you guys between these two gentlemen on Twitter, and then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that there. There was a post it was from Jay Slay, the Drama Prince. And this post said, this is why he doesn't give a F. This is why he doesn't F with Max Kellerman. And Terrell Owens goes and likes the post and says, facts, right? And then he went on to say, this all happening yesterday. He says, facts, I already know. Now I hear he wants to expose me, whatever that means. Now, what is he talking about? If you go to Stephen A. Smith's Twitter page, he says, according to responding to Terrell Owens, he says, now, as for this dude, that's an entirely different story. You know how I feel about your sorry you know what, Terrell Owens, and you know why. You should thank your heavenly Father. I haven't zeroed in on you with the trifling bleep you tried to pull. Tell folks at ESPN what your desperate behind tried to pull. Keep on talking. Eventually you'll expose yourself. And then he says, real facts. And then he went on to say in another post, or maybe I'll just dedicate the entire Stephen A. Smith show /podcast on YouTube this Monday to all the things you tried to do behind the scenes to brothers over the years while claiming someone is more of a brother than others. Let me think, I think he meant to say think about that over the next 24 hours. Sick of this bleep. Enough. Then Terrell Owens says, Terrell Owens then responds to him. He says, behind the scenes, again, man, I'm not worried because I stand on my character and who I am. You better come with some facts and not this hearsay and anonymous sources, because that's not going to fly. Terrell Owens then says, now Stephen A asked me if I'm scared. I thank God every day, or at least try to do my best. I'm not worried. You don't have to make some bold attempts to expose me because I have nothing to hide. You're mad because of the advice my attorney after we filed against ESPN, because on air without my consent, you shared our text conversation. I'm not sure that constitutes as desperate, but enlighten all of us. So my boy, hone in on me. I'm good. I'm blessed, and God got me. You're still salty about that interview I did with you and Max a few years back, and I said what I said, and today I'm still Team Max. Got that man fired. That's messed up. You saw me in Colorado. You should have told me about my sorry behind then. Then Stephen A. Smith, I mean, it's like a soap opera. And then Stephen A. Smith, he goes back and he says, respect, and someone tweeted at Stephen A. Smith, he said, at Stephen A., can't y'all call each other like grown, mature men and clear the air without all of this extra social media back and forth? Get what you need off your chest and move on. Stephen A. Smith then says, respectfully, bro, you don't know the whole story. I have nothing to say about his sorry, pathetic behind, but that doesn't mean you're wrong. You're right, bro. I'm man enough to admit that. I will stand down. And then Terrell Owens responded to that. He said, don't stand down now. I'll be sorry and pathetic, but sure to keep that same energy when you see me next time. You see, I'm not intimidated by you because you have a platform and a loud mouth to claim that you're going to allegedly expose me about something. It seems to me that you're the one being exposed. Please expose me. Let me know what you got. I, along with everybody else, will be waiting. I don't bother nobody. I'm just me. And if you don't like me, that's a personal problem. And then Terrell Owens said, he said a few other things about Stephen A. Smith. And he finally said 15 hours ago, he said, I can't wait to hear what he's going to expose me about. We'll be waiting. Anything you got? He then says, anything to get the people to tune into and increase the ratings on his show. But I'm here for it. Hey, Stevie, when it's all said and done, you open your mouth with the annoying overuse of vocabulary to try to expose me. I'm still Team Max. So you heard the exchange there. It was hilarious. One quick thing, because some people were roasting me in the comment section yesterday. Apparently, when I said in that soundbite, and somebody said, apparently that was Kyrie Irving. I had no idea it was Kyrie Irving for a few reasons. Number one, I don't follow Kyrie Irving on Twitter. Number two, when I was reading those tweets, I was actually switching back and forth between two tabs, and I was focused on what was being said. Number three, whatever it is, when I looked at the name, I saw the name at the top. I didn't look under it with the @ that said Kyrie Irving. I didn't see it. It was an oversight. But the way some people are banging on about that, a 20-minute video, you guys are focused on whether or not he didn't say Kyrie Irving. Man, relax. Relax. The video wasn't about Kyrie Irving. I wasn't looking at his name. Relax. Some people, this is what y'all be doing. This y'all acting like Jason Whitlock. You see something entire video, y'all, but he messed up right there. Let's make a whole like, come on, cut it. Like, I got it, but like that's not the whole video. Like, relax. But anyway, given the fact that this is such a big story and everybody's talking about it, I was surprised to see that one of Stephen A. Smith's current co-hosts or partners, however you want to call it, or colleagues at ESPN First Take, Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ochocinco, who the two of them now have a new show, they themselves were at the point where now they're chiming in on it. And apparently what happened was Chad Ochocinco spoke to both Terrell Owens and Stephen A. Smith, and he went on the Club Shay Shay show, Shannon Sharpe show, whatever it is, to basically say what was said. And Shannon Sharpe basically said, listen, I think these guys need to have a ceasefire because he thinks no one wins in this scenario. So what we want to do is we want to play what Chad Ochocinco said and Shannon Sharpe had to say about this beef, and then we're going to continue on the show. Take a listen to that there.
I talked to him. I
was going to reach out to him tomorrow.
I talked to him in length yesterday. I said, T told me the issues that they had. I'm not going to share him here because that's not the place to share him. I also talked with Stephen A. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I talked with Stephen A. Smith. I said, Steve, man, listen here, man. I love y'all. I love both of y'all. Both of y'all are inspirational and very motivating to me in different ways. In different ways. I look up to y'all in different ways from afar. I don't need to tell you that all the time. Just know I admire the y'all got going on and what y'all have done. T, been watching T all my life. Mm-hmm. Stephen A., I've been watching you even when I was playing and actually couldn't wait to hear you at times. You know, this ain't what y'all need to be doing. No. Not this ain't what y'all need to
not
do.
us.
Not us.
We do not
us. Not giving them something to talk about. Oh, here go these again. Mm-hmm. Look at these.
That's why we can't have nice things because y'all gonna tear it up between.
I'm not even trying to say it, but I'm trying to find a way.
I get it. Yeah,
let's
to facilitate.
Call each other.
We can
call each other, man. Listen, tell me what the problem is, and talk about it.
I'm a firm believer. We can disagree. You got your opinion, I got mine. You see something one way, I see something another way. But for me, if I got something to say, I'm gonna call him. You and I gonna discuss it.
Right.
And it's not gonna be for the world to hear.
Right.
So that's just look, people attack me all the time because a lot of times here, this is what I found out, Ocho.
Yes, sir.
A lot of times, if you can do something that they can do, but they can't do what you do. You see, I sit up here and I was the first athlete. Skip Bayless and Fox gave me an opportunity as an athlete to sit across from a journalist and talk about not only the sport that I played, but basketball, baseball, social issues, golf, hockey, whatever the case may be. I was the first athlete to do that full time. Now, there are others that have come since me. But now, a lot of times people look at me because I didn't come from a journalistic background. I'm sitting across from a journalist and doing what he does.
Right.
He could never live in my arena. And that breeds envy.
Right.
That breeds jealousy. That bleeds a situation where I've got to try to, I know just as much as you.
Right. But
why you, especially if it's like me and you.
Yeah.
Why would I feel the need to say, oh, I'm gonna tell y'all what Ocho really like behind the scenes. I got this tea on Ocho and I can't wait to spill it. What? Even if I knew it,
right,
I wouldn't tell it.
Right, because I ain't really got no tea because I live my life publicly. But listen, they're both individuals that took different paths. You know, Stephen A might not have played. He might not have played. Maybe he had a dream of playing, but he wasn't able to, so he went a different route.
Right.
T did play. You feel me? But both of them climbed that mountain with obstacles in the way.
Yes.
They both made it to the top and the pinnacle of their childhood dreams, whatever it may be. There's no reason why they are at that top to be going back and forth at each other when they the only ones that can hear themselves screaming. Because that's where everybody else trying to get to. Okay. We all trying to get where y'all at.
Ocho, one climb one side of the mountain, the other climb the other side of the mountain, but they both at the peak.
So you heard what the gentleman had to say. Here are my thoughts. First of all, I think this has nothing to do with some brothers going at each other or going back and forth with each other, back and forth. If that's the conversation we want to have, then I think that you could have left Terrell Owens' name out of this and focus on Stephen A. Smith. You could have left Terrell Owens' name out of it and focus on Stephen A. Smith because he's the one that usually finds himself in that type of madness where people are calling him out for it. Terrell Owens was coming to the defense of Max Kellerman. Terrell Owens is not on television on a big platform every single day. So that's the first. I don't think it has to do with the two brothers fighting. Nah. Number one. Number two, just because two people are black don't mean they got to agree on something. They don't. They don't. There's some dudes that's black like me that are grimy as hell. And I'm not going to vibe with. Period. I'm not going to vibe with you if I don't get along with you and I don't like you just because you're black. I'm not doing it. We all know people from our various backgrounds where all of us are coming from. You friends with everybody just because they share your same ethnicity? Let's stop. About the back and forth between Stephen A. Smith and Terrell Owens, I think Stephen A. Smith is 100% wrong because Stephen A. Smith is throwing Max Kellerman under the bus with his comments, knowing that Max Kellerman is currently unemployed. Why are you going so hard at him? Number one. Number two, why are you so cold about it? It's just business. I mean, it's just business. You know, it's just business and it is business. Like, bro, what is this? What is the purpose of being so cold? And that's what T.O. was calling him out on. No one makes more threats in media than Stephen A. Smith at other people. In this case, since we want to use blacks, at other blacks. Nobody threatens more people on sports in sports media than Stephen A. Smith. Nobody. He be on TV talking like John Gotti or one of these shows. I don't understand it. Stephen A. Smith walking around like he's some mob boss or something. He be mobbing on dudes. I don't know what. That's how he acts. And it is what it is, and I'll show you what it is, and it is what it is, and it is what it is, and I'm a feel, and I'm, you know, and that's what I feel, you know, and I'm not backing down from that, and I'm like, yo, what is this, bro? You talk sports, cut it out. You talk sports. You talk sports. You talk sports. You're not a boxer. You're nothing like that. You're not an MMA fighter. You talk sports. So Stephen A. Smith is the one that always has that energy. He's always threatening to expose somebody. That's what he did again with T.O. If you keep it up, I'm going to expose you. That's his whole thing. He's either exposing something or dry snitching about something. Yeah, I saw these two dudes get into a fight, but I would never go into the details of it because that's their business. You already told the whole, you might as well finish. Shannon Sharpe was pushed out from FS1. Believe me, but I'm not going to say what happened, but you can believe me. You already told the story. Now all we need now is just the play-by-play. The pillow talk part of it. So to me, I'm calling cap on all of that. It ain't got nothing to do with no black or white thing. Stephen A. Smith be foul sometimes. He's just a grimy dude at times. And he's proud about being grimy. Like it is what it is in his business. And if you can't do the job, I'm going to have you replaced. What? An employee talking about replacing other employees? What? At every opportunity Stephen A. Smith has, he's telling you about the fact that he owns a podcast. Just imagine. Every opportunity he has, he's telling you about the fact that he owns his own podcast. Business people watching this video, Is it a big deal that you own your own podcast? Please help me figure it out. There are people that have been owning businesses for 20 years, 2, 3, 4, 5 businesses, and they don't run around every 5 minutes telling you about, and I own this business, which I own. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you own a fantastic, you own a podcast. We're happy for you. Great. So it's on him. There's no Black and 2C2 brothers. That's what they want. There's no day. There's no day. There's no day that forced Stephen A. Smith to go out there. Because you're saying they like it's white people. There ain't no white people involved in this. It was him on that show throwing his former partner under the bus all by himself. Joe Biden and all of these guys sitting next to him asked him a question. He went on about it. There's no day. It's him. There's no day. I'm sorry. It was him. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.